Hello, everybody. Welcome to my show. Welcome to this podcast called That Gamecast. Working title.
Hashtag working title.
Hashtag working title. Today we're going to discuss World of Warcraft. What's going on with WoW? What got us into WoW? The state of it. Legacy servers, all that stuff. Start with some introductions. I'm Windowpane. It's my show. Can't take myself seriously. And I stream on Twitch. I've been uploading some of my Twitch streams up to YouTube. I just play whatever, really. Started Uncharted 4 the other night. Last night, actually.
Nice.
But
The game's amazing.
I just bought the first 3 before I got on.
Nice. Okay, so who wants to go next? Who wants to introduce them? Let's go with Luke, because he has webcam.
Okay. So, am I going with Luke or Death Egg? It doesn't matter. So what am I saying about myself, Tyler? You didn't tell me what to say.
It's an introduction.
Oh, well, that's me. I'm here, and you can see me, and that's cool. I also have a channel.
Thanks.
Death Egg TV. I'm hosting this stream currently. I don't really stream anymore. I probably should, but I don't. And yeah, that's all I have to say at the moment.
Clapping.
Or fapping.
The world may never know.
Who else wants to introduce themselves?
Cow compliments. What's up, man? Sorry.
How's it going?
My name is Andrew, Drix, or Redshift, whatever. I play WoW, other games and stuff. I go to college for things, and games are fun.
Yeah, they are.
Yep. Alright. Matt.
So I'm Matt, or Attrition. I play WoW since the beginning. That's pretty much it.
Oh.
Drum roll. Hi, I'm Bo. Airby's Vlad, Phalor, whatever you want to go by, I don't know. Played WoW since 07, I think. Seems long, I don't know. But yeah, here I am.
Sounds right.
Yeah, almost 10 years ago.
That's fucking hard to believe, isn't it?
Old.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to calculate how much money we've all spent on WoW.
Let's
No,
not do that. Let's not do that.
Car.
15 times 200.
Jesus.
Plus all the in-game transactions we've done.
That's very true.
Well,
Some not so good in-game transactions we've done. You know.
for out-of-game transactions, Tyler. You know what I mean? For like things in-game.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, so let's talk about some WoW.
Yes.
World of Warcraft. How do we get started with WoW? I got started with WoW because of Matt there. He basically got me into it. Him and Cody, our friend Cody, he's not here, but Matt told me to get WoW one day. I was like, all right. So I think he gave me like a trial, make a trial account, and I did it, but it pissed me off because like it would need to close. It would log me out like every 30 minutes or something, and then I'd log back in and I'd be dead. And I made the mistake of making a druid as my first character in vanilla WoW. And being a noob in WoW, druids are not very forgiving when you don't know what you're doing. So then I quit and then started playing again when Burning Crusade came out. I made a Blood Elf Mage on the same server that my friends were playing on as Alliance, so it was Wasn't the best idea, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Am I going next? Or we
How
go
about you
keep the same
guys?
order?
We just go in the same order we introduced ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started, I guess it was 2007, maybe even 2006 at the very end of the year. BC came out in 2006, right? Or did it? I don't know. Well, anyway, it was shortly after BC came out.
2007, I think.
I played because Tyler and Cody were talking about WoW in the band room. Or no, the annex. Remember that, Tyler?
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds amazing. Sounds like the coolest thing ever. I had a really shitty computer at the time, but it worked. And it took me like months to actually get into it, but I can't remember if I did a trial or what, but instantly fell in love with. I made a Night Elf Priest, and to this day, my favorite zone in the game is the one I'm standing in right now on this new character I made. The whole Teldrassil area.
Yes.
Because like the music and everything, and I don't know, I had never played anything even remotely close to an MMO. Like I didn't get Xbox Live, for example, until the 360 came out. So I had never played online Halo or any of that shit, except for like once or twice with friends, with you guys. So I don't know, it was like I was hooked immediately, and then I finally got a decent computer, and I just played it as much as I could, and I mostly goofed off because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just kind of ran around, but yeah, so that's how I started.
I guess I was kind of in the same boat. I had a friend that was like, "Hey, there's this game that I started to play." So I went over to his house, kind of introduced me to it. I was like, "Okay, I've never played a PC game before. Wow!" So it was like a whole new experience. But I made an undead mage. Leveled that dude arcane in vanilla. It was terrible. Don't do it. I quit probably just before BC came out, and then started back up like late BC and onward into Wrath, and kind of started playing a lot in Wrath, and that's when I met all you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I started playing in vanilla. My very first character was a night elf as well, night elf rogue. I got it to 3 and then quit. And then, but actually, like Tyler stated earlier, I actually got into the game from Cody, one of our mutual friends. He was talking to me about it in homeroom. I think it was like 9th or 8th grade, or 9th or 10th grade. But yeah, I just automatically fell in love with it. It's awesome multiplayer experience that I had never seen before.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. I started playing in 07. It was like shortly after BC came out. My friends Ethan and Matt actually. I went over to Ethan's house and saw them playing. And I'm like, what is this? I've never played a PC game before. And I got into it. And I've played mostly through the time. Didn't play much during Kata. Yeah, but since then it's just been a thing. Played it ever since. Don't think I'll stop playing it.
Yeah. It was a good decision to not play during Kata. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'll comment on that, but not right now. All right, and so now let's talk about what expansion of the game really made us love the game.
We all
I'd say
answer at once.
what?
We all answer at once. I think it's. I feel like it's unanimous.
Yeah, it's probably unanimous.
Well, it might be
Maybe.
too.
Well, yeah, it'll be. So my answer has recently changed after I started thinking about this, but I'm assuming everyone's gonna say Wrath. I'll just go ahead and blurt it out.
That's probably a safe assumption.
Yeah.
Raptor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was my favorite expansion. But I think when you phrase it, which one made us fall in love with the game, I'd have to say BC for obvious reasons because that's where I started,
That's a good point.
and
Absolutely.
that's where I like learned how to play the game, which is, I mean, that's obviously a very important thing. It's like that expansion shaped my understanding of the game, and like um, when I was a low level, which I was that whole expansion really, except for like Michael's characters I used. When I saw like high level players running around, it was people in level 70 gear, and like those are some of my more memorable things. And then like the Prince thing that we went through, like getting Prince to 1%, that kind of stuff. Like
Let's
that's
not talk about that.
yeah. When I think of like early days of WoW, that's the kind of stuff I think about. I've realized that a lot of my memories go back to BC.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's Burning Crusade is definitely the expansion that got me into it. With I I made my first real character in Burning Crusade. It was Horde. Oh, not being able to play with my friends, but I have so many like fond memories of it. Like like Karazhan for one. Even though I did it on my Alliance Rogue once I finally got that level, but the rate that's expansion that got me into raiding because the Karazhan, then Gruul's Lair and Magtheridon's Lair. I didn't really do the Magtheridon's Lair at all. I did it once at like the end of the expansion, but that and then like how hard the old 5-man dungeons used to be. Like Maradon, I spent like 5 hours in Maradon.
Yeah,
Yeah, that-
honestly, that is my favorite dungeon still, because I had such a. I think partially because it was so long, and it like once I beat it, like walking up to Princess was like, oh my god, what is this thing?
Yeah.
And like actually beating it was so satisfying.
Remember Matt and I got into that once. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I have
We're like
vivid memories of that.
halfway through, 3 hours in, like 100%
Yes.
dungeon raid.
We were just two-manning it too.
Yep.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
And so I'd say Burning Crusade is the expansion that made me love the game. But Wrath of the Lich King is definitely the one I had the most fun in.
Yeah.
I can agree.
There's just so much.
It was like everything
About
good
it.
about the game in
Yes.
that expansion.
When that came out, it like changed my world. Just like
Of Warcraft.
yeah, of Warcraft. Like I don't know. Yeah, there's like so much to do, and that was the first time I'd ever been there for the release of an expansion and experience what it was like to like for people to not already be established end-game characters. You know, like I was kind of there with everyone, so like that was a big difference too.
Right.
Which is
Yeah.
it's awesome.
I think you saw a big ramp in popularity of the game overall around that time too.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
the peak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
it was-
Yeah.
New players and stuff to the game.
Yeah.
It's almost like a rebirth.
So what about Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King? What was it specifically that made it the most fun for us? What would you guys say what was about it that made it fun?
That's
ACC.
question.
Yeah. For me, it was Wrath of the Lich King. It was the first expansion where I was level capped since I'd started the game, and I think getting on and rating, that's still my top moment of WoW. Downing the Lich King that one time, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, like the week
Six
before the
manning it.
pre-patch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the next day, we saw the Lich or the Cataclysm loading screen or whatever, and the park in Stormwind was completely gone. It was kind of cool. It was like at the perfect timing. We downed him.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Oh yeah, we missed it.
I missed it. That's
He
my
wasn't
biggest.
dead?
It's my biggest WoW regret. Is I missed that. Because I did
No,
ICC so much before that, and then I quit, and then you guys fucking killed him. It's tragic. wants to go? Anybody?
I'm kind of with Bo on that. BC was really fun because that was I didn't hit level cap in vanilla, so BC was the first expansion that I had hit level cap and kind of got introduced to raiding and even high level PvP. I remember Karazhan will forever be one of the most amazing raids ever because it was the one that I started with, and it was just so much fun healing it as a holy paladin. Really get introduced to the end game aspect, I think was the most fun.
Bring
Yeah.
it
Same way
back.
with Wrath.
Bring it back, Karazhan.
KRZ.
At this point, I'll even take like a remake, man.
Yeah, me too. I agree completely.
Did they do a retexture of Karazhan recently?
Yes,
They did. I thought they
I
did.
did. Yeah.
I agree with you guys. The rating is what is kept me playing WoW. Endless sleepless nights in Wrath of the Lich King trying to clear Naxxramas when it was first out. One of my not so fond memories was on my death night. I spent a whole night in Nax, full clear, and I need the helm off Kel'Thuzad, and we get there, we kill him after like, I don't know, 5-6 attempts. We finally do it, and then my helm drops, but there's a priest in the raid too, whose name is Dave. Has Dave in his name. I win the roll for the tier helm. But
Oh, I see where this is going.
the priest,
Oh.
the raid leader, or the master looter, gave it to the wrong Dave. Gave it to the priest. And this was before we were able to trade loot. Because that's in WoW right now. You can trade loot with someone else. But
Yep.
before, if you didn't get the piece of loot that you won, or someone got a piece of loot that you wanted, you're just shit out of luck.
Yep.
Shit out of luck.
hmm That sucks, man.
Yeah, it does suck. But
I did.
it was still a good time. It still shaped me into what I really love about the game, is just raiding in general. Anyone else?
Remember that one time when I kicked your power cord when you were doing Vault?
I do. I do remember that.
Ah, he was so mad, guys.
I'm pretty sure Warlock gear dropped. I could have got, because it was the only Warlock in the room.
Good
Gear
times.
that I needed.
hmm Sorry about that.
For you.
Hey, man, it's been like, what?
Never forget.
Moving on, moving on.
Oh, Jesus.
Where did the game start to go?
Did we all answer the last question?
What was fun about?
I think so.
Okay. I'm sorry. I couldn't remember what the last question was, so.
All right, so where would you say that WoW started to go downhill? I wouldn't say Cataclysm. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't say Cataclysm. Maybe not.
Cataclysm.
I had a lot of fun in Cataclysm.
Doesn't mean it.
Especially-
Just because it started in Cataclysm, you're asking where it started to go downhill. Just because it wasn't all terrible doesn't mean that's not where it started to go downhill.
I'm thinking more Mists of Pandaria.
That's where it continued
I think that's
Yeah.
where it started to go down.
faster.
I would say it started at the end of Cataclysm with the release of the whatever raid, Dragon's Soul or whatever.
Yeah, Dragon's
Release
Soul.
of that. Right when they released that, and it was cleared in like that same week or whatever, it was like, well, all right, now we have like 8 months of this. and it's kind of just the downhill slide from there.
Yeah.
For me, I think it kind of was Kata. I didn't really raid in Kata. After Wrath of the Lich King and our ICC adventures, I just didn't really like raiding, I guess. So I kind of switched to like a PvP, or the PvP aspect of the game, and I had a lot of fun. Not so much in Kata, but more so Mists wasn't bad. I know Bo and I had a lot of fun at Mists PvPing, but that's really the most fun I've had since Wrath.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's kind of where it's
My
gone
answer is the
downhill.
same as Matt, pretty much. In a way, I feel like Blizz almost created this problem because their past expansions were just so good, where it almost became a point where they couldn't show that up with something even better. But I pretty much just didn't play Kata at all, and then got back into MoP, PvP'd a lot, and currently still, and that's pretty much why I play the game still.
When Catechism launched, I was obsessed with it. I thought it was really cool. Like, all the new zones were sweet.
Yeah, same
The
here.
world shattering thing was awesome.
I thought the Azeroth flying was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or the yeah.
Now I kind of have mixed feelings about it, but I don't know. It just got old really quick. It was like that stuff was all novelty. It wasn't. I don't know. I started to miss the old world pretty quickly, and it's like there was no going back to it. And that was one of the biggest problems for me. And like when I played vanilla server, when I played Nostarius, like one of the things I was most excited about was seeing the old places again, how they were supposed to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, like, so that, I don't know, that kind of bothered me. I don't know. I don't know. Again, it was cool, almost like an instance thing, like a Culling of Stratholme type thing. But like, once that newness wore off, I didn't like it.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the talent system overhaul?
Fucking hate it.
Yeah, I don't really like it either.
Ruined it. Yeah, that was huge. That's a good point. The only thing I liked about the talent change they made was the level 10 thing where you get to pick your specialization, and you got like one of your key spells. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was cool because it was like, oh hey, my first double-digit level, and it's like I'm going down this path now, and it was very like you clearly were stating your identity. But everything outside of that, I hated and still hate.
Yeah.
I think it was almost removing like a level of depth to the game, because in my opinion, I liked like trying to find a spec that I really liked and that worked for me, and that wasn't just the meta, you know. It wasn't just like, well, mages are spec frost, you know, that's the best spec for mages. I feel like it was kind of more, and especially in vanilla, like you could PvP with any really type of spec. I mean, it didn't have to be just what was good at the time.
And there could also be so many more variations, right? Like, you could have the bulk of the best build, but then throw 2 or 3 points in this other talent that opens up all these other possibilities. Like, there's so much more flexibility. Like, it wasn't as approachable, which I get that they have to cater to the casuals, that's frankly, I think that's the problem at the end of the day, is catering to casuals.
I think that's where the game has gone over the past 2 expansions.
Yeah.
They've just been making it all, easier. And it is easier, but even the content isn't even as good. It'd be different if it was easier and the content was better, but it's just, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. They have to say like you're a new player and you're staring down 100 levels. Start at level 1. The leveling has to be easy. Gotta go through. Is that?
Yeah.
And I've heard, and for like in-game content, I've heard that recent expansions is best rating period. Like Miss Pandaria apparently has excellent rating, as well as Legion, not Legion, Warlords of Draenor, that's both really good rating. I've heard that from multiple sources, Tally and Lootbag.
So the other thing I can say in response to that is the bit of mop rating I did, I enjoyed, and I've done like the first raid in Warlords, and I was impressed by it, honestly.
Oh yeah, I loved Highmaul. Highmaul was fantastic. The only thing is, we didn't really get a good part of it. We had because of us, we are now casuals. Say that.
Yeah.
We are now casuals. That's easy to say. So we didn't actually get the whole rating experience. We got the LFR experience, which I think honestly, I think LFR is a big issue.
Yeah,
It takes
Oh, wait.
away from
yeah,
the game.
yeah. That's a huge
Agreed.
piece of it for me. That's a problem. Like you say, we're casuals. We are, totally.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't really play. I have an active sub, but I don't really play. But I want to be a hardcore player, but I don't have the drive. I don't have there's not enough depth to the game for me to sink time into. It's all
Yeah.
like surface level bullcrap that's not satisfying. Like once you've done it.
An issue I had with the LFR is that you would do the LFR to get the gear, then you had to do up another level. I forget which each level is, like normal, to get higher gear, and then you did heroic, and you did mythic. And those are all the same raid. I mean, the mechanics changed a little bit, but it was just all the same. You know, at some point you're gonna get tired of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, like I think like you said, Tyler, I think okay, I didn't have the opinion that it was the best rating ever, but I haven't rated enough recently to form that opinion. So, but I think that the rating isn't the issue; it's the systems surrounding the rating that are the issue. It's the LFR system, which that's like your introduction to rating.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to do it to get the gear to move on, and then also everything leading up to that rating experience, like how little amount of effort you have to put in to get to that. Like it used to be, like being able to raid was a reward in and of itself for all the work you put in into your character, and then to beat that and like push through that material was super satisfying.
Yep.
So that's where the issue comes for me, is not the raids themselves, it's just the surrounding experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of it that has to do with the people, even in the guilds that do raids. Because, like, as us in a guild, we were pretty lenient. Like, yeah, your item level wasn't high enough. Like, you could still go and we'll just gear people, or, as long as you knew the fights and knew what to do, you'd be fine. But, like, now people want you to, like, achievements, and you have to have an item level higher than you can get without a group.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
that you can get from, like, even through LFR, they have to be higher than that. So it kind of puts you at, like, okay, what can I do after that?
Well, like they've come out with a response to that basically situation with the mythic dungeons that they released with Warlords, where you can get 685 gear from just a 5-man dungeon. Up, I think it get Warforged for those pieces of gear too, up to like 720 or 725, I believe. So there's sort of like their response to that issue, but at the same time, the people who are running who are putting together groups for the Mythic Dungeon are wanting time level higher than what the Mythic Dungeons really require. So there's an issue there too.
Yeah.
Like I think if Mythic Dungeons, they're cool, but I think with the Dungeon Finder, I really wish that they would implement Mythic Dungeons, and like they'd have just normal dungeons, heroics, then into Mythic Dungeons, where you need like a certain item level to even be able to queue for it. Like,
or even like how they do the silver rating for the training grounds. Get a gold training, and you can do mythics, something like that.
it's something
That's
like
a good
that.
point.
But they are getting rid of that requirement in Legion. You don't need to do that.
That was fun.
But yeah, the whole working on your character to get into raiding, I remember that a lot. I remember spending in BC. I spent a lot of time like crafting gear on my warlock, tailoring gear on my warlock to get it so I could be able to raid Karazhan. That's
See, like that's why you had professions. That's why you spent so much time leveling up your professions. It all feeds into each other. And now there's so many easy ways out. It's like I don't know.
But
It's
Right.
just it's like so I guess the point I want to make is like there's still the options to do a lot of the things that you could before and do them in the same ways, but because there's I don't know, like things like your garrison, it's super easy to farm resources and that kind of stuff. It's like when you saw other people with really good tailored gear, you're like, oh, I know that person spent a bunch of time and effort to get that. Or if you see someone in this raid gear, you know that they spent a bunch of time and effort, not only getting to that point, but beating the raids and getting a group for the raids and all this stuff. There's so many layers. And the combination of all these new features, I just think makes for a very casual and unsatisfying game. And I don't think that's what WoW is.
Yes. Right.
yeah,
Right.
But-
I agree with you 100%.
they started implementing easier ways to catch up gear wise. Burning Crusade. When they put out the last raid, BC Sunwell, they added a new dungeon, Magister's Terrace, and you could spend badges to get gear from vendors. Like we're familiar with in specifically Wrath. I know that I spent Justice points $1 on gear from vendors. Those.
Yeah.
And I think those systems are good in certain contexts because
Yeah.
like if you want to have, say you have a raid group and you're like the main tank of this raid group, right? You spend all this time working on this one character. If you want to like lead a second raid group, like it should be a little easier since you've already put in the time for this other character. You know what I mean? So I feel like those systems should be in play, but I don't know. It has to be a little easier to make your second character, all your alts and stuff, get geared
Right.
for raids to help
Right.
out.
I agree. And like that's why those systems came about.
Right.
But like I feel like they've been taken too far, and I think that the Blizzard now sees the solution to issues that arise from new features is adding new features that
Yes.
change them or whatever, and it's like it's just spiraling out of control. I don't know. Like it just feels like they're afraid to remove features or like fundamentally change them or like do anything drastic like that, and instead they're just adding. I don't know. It's just
They don't want to
it
go
feels like
back
too much.
on decisions they made, but it's weird because they're adding Dalaran back. I know that's kind of random, but I mean, they're adding something that was used previously, but they won't go back on their decisions. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that there's. I mean, the internet's blowing up about BC talk, and we're not the only ones having a podcast. And I know at least Andrew and I have watched a couple of videos of people ranting about vanilla servers and what was good about them and that kind of stuff. And so hopefully, Blizzard is listening to that, and they're going to look at these fundamental issues.
Yeah.
And hopefully the meeting with the devs of Nostarius, hopefully that brings something positive for the legacy community, if you will. The people who want to see legacy content, or whether it be, I don't think pristine realms are the answer, but you need to give something, I feel like, to the players who have been there since the beginning and they
How many
want
people-
this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people ended up signing that petition?
It was
Lot.
like over 300,000.
That's what I thought. That's crazy. That's a lot of people.
For sure.
So what?
I just think that they don't. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I think, and maybe I'm sounding like a broken record, but for me, the classic, like the reason that I play legacy servers isn't just because it's only legacy content. It's because of how the features were and how the systems were laid out. It's like
It was more
and, like
difficult.
how difficult. Yeah, it was more difficult. The enemies were more difficult. It was more. It was much less forgiving, and you actually had a reason to form a group, like and meet people. I think that's what it all comes down to for me. Like that's the simplest point. Like now with Raid Finder and Group Finder, it's like you have no reason to be friendly with the people that you get grouped with. Like,
There's no interaction.
they jump out, you get someone. Yeah. You're just taking out what makes an MMO an MMO, and that's the
There was
social experience.
A greater need to form raid groups with your friends and get a hold of your friends and tell them to get on because I need a group to down
And make
whatever.
new friends in the
Yes.
wild, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
and,
think
and that's something, in Nostarius, as soon as I started playing, people were actually talking and like, hey, I need help. Like,
they help-
so
yeah,
we'd
they
help.
help each
I'd help
other.
them. You'd actually
You run
help
by
each other,
someone
and then
you get like wisdom or something, you know, like you always get buffed when you run past a group of players. No, like they don't know you. They're just like, oh, that guy, you know. I don't know. I
Like,
like
they're
that.
gonna need this help. Like, yeah. And then one quest turns into two, which turns into hours of playing together, and then you made a friend, and then even if you don't play with him for a while, say you both make it in-game content, you hit that friend up, hey, do you want to raid with us? Boom, there you go. Like,
Yeah,
right.
and they invite you to your guild
just-
or whatever.
there's
I
no
still
reason for
talk
that
to
anymore.
people- I still talk to people that, you know, they live in a different state that I met through WoW, raiding with them, and you know, I mean, it creates friendships. I've
Hayden.
got friends. Yeah, Hayden, Kathy, and Josh, and Joe, and all them.
And there's like countless relationships and marriages that I've heard of that are through WoW,
Yeah.
and like I feel like that if it still happens, there's no way it happens as much, and not just because there's fewer players, because the interactions themselves are not there. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because like think about it, like as soon as in the current state of the game, as soon as you hit 15, the smart thing to do if you want to get to the in-game content is queue up for Group Finder and just do that until you're max level.
It's the quickest way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Even
quickest
if
way.
you're DPS, I mean, you still get the queue times aren't terrible.
So, I mean, and when you're in those groups, you're not really talking to the people. You might, but then they're gone because they're from another server and you can't play with them anyway.
I could play with them.
Okay, you could, but it's not
How
the same.
often do you?
Yeah.
It's
Like, how
usually
often
someone
do
from
you-
you know what I mean, all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's one of those things where I think when these features came out, like Group Finder, for example, it came from what people thought was a need, and in reality, it's like, I don't know. I feel like we shouldn't have wished for that because we didn't realize all the good things that came out of not having it. And how do I put it? I don't know. Like when those features first came out, like when I first started using Group Finder when it launched, I was like, this is awesome. Everyone thought it was awesome because the people that cared about those relationships and stuff were still in it. And then slowly and slowly, people started forming fewer and fewer relationships, and this is kind of where it's led to.
I don't like the matchmaking aspect to it. I feel like where it was the best was where you could like list your group or list what you needed in like, I don't know, it was kind of like a dungeon finder. It was like pre-dungeon finder. I feel like that was probably the best way
Make a group,
to go about
advertise
forming
yourself on
groups.
Trade Chat. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what you had to do.
looking for group halls of reflection.
Yeah.
Now you could. Dungeon Finder was out with all the collection,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so you could just queue up for it.
No one, but a lot of people just didn't want randoms, especially for heroic.
I feel like there is a place for Dungeon Finder and Raid Finder, but I think it's too widespread. It's you have to use it, and I don't know. You don't have to.
You don't have
You
to,
pretty
but
much do. You pretty
yeah,
much do.
yeah. They've
So-
been saying that, like they reworked it with Warlords a little. The way it drops different gear, it doesn't drop tier gear or anything like. But
But
it's,
see,
it's
that
still-
right there is is the point I was making earlier. And the way they fix it is by adding a new feature. They're adding new gear for Raid Finder, but I mean,
Yeah, but it's not the same. It doesn't. It's not the same gear that drops in like normal raid, heroic, raid, mythic raid. It's
but it's like a stepping stone. It's like a
Yes.
necessary stepping stone, which still means you still have to do it. Basically, it still means that the majority of players have to do it. So
yeah.
I think there should be like a cap on how many times you can use the Dungeon Finder, maybe a day, or
Interesting concept.
maybe because like for the like dailies, for example, one way I see the Dungeon Finder making sense is you're someone that does your dailies, you don't have very much time, so you want to jump on, do your daily dungeon, get off. You don't want to wait. You don't have time to wait a couple hours to get a group. I get that. Okay, allow one group finder a day, and that's how you can get your daily done. I mean, that's probably not the solution, but something like that, some sort of limitation, or you can only do one per hour or every 2 hours or whatever.
You know, I kind of like that because this past time that I subbed up, I kind of dabbled a little bit in the raid finder, and I joined like a raiding guild, but I didn't really do anything with them. But I started off from the very beginning, you know, the very first raid that you could do in raid finder, and I did it, and then the next one, and then the next one, and this was all in the course of like 3 hours. And I was geared to do like the very last raid, and I'm like, what's really the point to this? I just didn't really get why you could do this so easily.
Yeah, like what's the point, right? Because at the end of the day, the whole reason you play an RPG is to grow your character.
Yeah.
And like,
And the satisfaction of having
and the satisfaction, like that's it. That's what an
you can
RPG
get it in 3
is.
hours, then there's no satisfaction or reward.
Exactly. It's like it's the first time you do it, the first time you get lucky and get a bunch of gear really quick. It's like, woo, that's awesome. But beyond that, if that's just how it is, you just get gear really quick and then it's over, and you have no reason to play that character anymore because you're fully geared, and you wait for the next content. And when that finally comes out, you've got all the gear in a week, and you don't need to play it anymore. Like, what the hell's the point?
I think an issue with that is like they added in where you could get an extra roll on gear, right?
Right.
I think that's a big issue as well. That helps you get gear quicker. I think that they should take that out. I think that's something that they need to look at more, because you shouldn't be able to like do LFR. Just do the LFR as an example. Do one wing of LFR and get every single piece of gear that you need.
Mhm.
Like, you shouldn't even be guaranteed a piece of gear, because that's just how rating is.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think the currency system that was like the Justice Point and the Valor Point system that was introduced was the only solution to that, like not getting gear problem that made sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you still had to earn it. It still took time, but it gave you choice and it gave you some sort of a guarantee that you'll get something for your efforts instead of like weeks of nothing.
Yeah.
Like, that makes perfect sense.
That was sort of a perfect balance.
Yeah. And I think that's another reason that Wrath was such a good expansion, is because it had those like the basic forms of these systems that help more casual players. It's just gone too far now.
They've taken it about 10 steps too far, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Trying to...
I feel like we jumped around a little bit.
Yeah, we jumped around quite a bit.
Is your stream down, Tyler?
No, it was down. It should be back up. Yeah, it's up.
Okay, I see.
I'm not entirely sure where we're at.
We haven't talked about Legion yet.
We haven't talked about Legion, but wondering if there's more we could talk about. Current WoW improvements, legacy servers.
So what about legacy servers then? Like, what all servers have you played? Have you guys played on, or what was your like experience there? I mean, I know we kind of like just talked about it, but like, I'm curious as to like which expansions you guys have played on the most in private servers or what have you.
So I've only played on 2 private servers. One was Nostarius, and the other was a Wrath server.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are what I played. I didn't really play at all in either one.
Played a little bit on the Wrath server like a year ago or so.
I was
So,
still
like-
into current WoW,
Right.
playing that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what I was going to ask. It's like whenever I've brought up classic servers to you, Tyler, you've always been very reluctant because you're playing current WoW. And I guess I get that, but is that the only reason that you didn't play? I guess I'm really curious what your reasoning is for not playing private servers.
It's, I don't know. It's like if I'm playing a private server, I'm not really like supporting Blizzard in their games, because it's somewhat like it was their game at one point, but they've changed it to something else. And Blizzard is obviously one of my favorite video game companies. Play every make. I've at least played it every game that they've made once, at least once.
Mhm.
But if I go back and play on a private server, I'm not really supporting them being able to create more content. I know that right now, especially with Warlords, it's not the greatest game in the world. But I'd still say World of Warcraft is my favorite game at the moment.
Okay.
But there's also just so many things with the current WoW that I really enjoy. I guess not really current WoW, just the changes that they made. That quality of life thing for me, like Dungeon Finder, I absolutely love it. So I do agree that it can be abused more so than not. But I absolutely love Dungeon. So I did love my 4 to 5 hour marathon runs back in the day. But anymore, like I've already experienced all it. I've experienced it. Now it's just I just want to get max level because I've already gone through everything. Game for the current game.
Right.
It's kind of like how we're doing this Project 60 and 70 stuff, like just for like on the side, basically. Because like sometimes when I play on my lower level characters on Scarlet Crusade, I'm like, well, I'm kind of not advancing the character that I'm going to be playing on live when Legion comes out. So maybe I should play that character more. Kind of like making goal, leveling up professions, doing all the quests, making sure you have everything done for this expansion and whatnot.
Yeah. Hi, CJ. But, like,
Hi, CJ.
Project 60 and Project 70. I don't know. I like the ideas of them. I like the idea of Project 70 more than Project 60. Well, there's not a whole lot of in-game content. 60 vamped it all. That's Molten
Right.
Core and Blackwing. But
AQ8.
yeah, AQ8. But doing. The main reason I'm doing this is doing these things is because I'm bored. It's nothing to do with
Yeah.
like supporting of like trying to get legacy servers. It's just because I'm bored. I have my legendary ring characters.
Damn.
Dang.
So and they're all like I'm level 7. My paladin's 712. I think shaman's like 712 as well. My warrior's like 705 or something.
Sheesh.
So I'm basically ready for Legion to come out. I would like to get my moose mount from Archimond. But legacy servers, for me, they're just something that they don't really interest me. I like the idea of Blizzard creating pristine servers. Give them the old like leveling, the old feel of leveling again. But
Right.
I feel like once Legion launches, and I've heard this from Tally too, is that that once Legion comes out, they're not going to really even care about these legacy / pristine servers because they're going to be too busy playing the new. And from what I've seen and have been seeing, is that Legion is badass. Like professions matter now.
Yeah.
Professions matter again.
They didn't kill the gathering.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
like in the garrison, you still have a purpose with gathering profession. Professions matter again. You have one weapon for the entire expansion, but that takes a time to get it all maxed out.
And that's for one spec.
Yeah.
So,
And-
I just want to apologize for I missed some of that because CJ was just got home from work and he was talking to me. But it sounds like you're just talking about Legion, right?
Legacy servers and delete.
Okay. Okay.
Like, I feel like people won't care about legacy servers once Legion hits because they'll be too busy playing that content. Anyway,
Yeah.
I hope Legion's great. I do.
from what I've seen and have been seeing, I've been watching. Legion looks fantastic.
So I briefly heard you say that the professions matter now, and how so? Be more specific.
We actually have to go do them. For one, unlike in Warlords where you had all your professions basically just there, you didn't even need to have gathering mine, gather herbs. Garrison.
They're removing that,
Yeah.
so there's
And
not going to
didn't
be
it-
mine anymore.
No, they.
You don't have a garrison.
Wait, they're removing garrisons?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Garrisons are not in Legion.
Thank
Sweet.
God. Seriously, I was gonna rant about garrisons. All right, cool.
You have a class order hall where
Right.
you can still have followers. Then you only have like 8. Send them out to do missions with.
Uh-huh.
But once you send them out to do stuff, then you have to go out into the do stuff.
And actually
then-
go to a city and actually be around people instead of hiding in your garrison by yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even in the
Dollar
class
man.
order hall, it's not just you. There's every one of your same class as you.
So it'll be packed.
I love.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's huge. My understanding when they announced class order halls, I thought those were cool, but I thought they were class order halls and garrisons. Did they recently say that there weren't going to be garrisons, or has that been a thing?
It's been a thing.
Yeah.
So they're just completely gone.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's fucking awesome. Honestly, that's exciting. Like that is enough for me to definitely get it when it comes out.
And also in Legion, from what I was watching Tally's stream today, and there are like world quests that you can go out and do, and they drop. The world quest will drop gear, but you only have a certain amount of time to go do them. Like if you hover over one, it'll say like 3 hours remaining or something. You have that amount of time to go do it, and then it'll drop, give you a piece of gear, and it has the chance to be like a certain item level, but it can also be higher than that item. Say like, example was hovered over a request, and instead it dropped a blue item that 805 plus. So it could be 805, but it could also be higher than.
Okay. All right.
There's also like treasure goblins, like in Diablo.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like
They're
they're
like
just
raid-
randomly spawn and you can kill them for good loot?
Nice.
Yeah, they require a group, I believe.
Oh my god. Okay, so you say shit like this, and I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Legion is basically, from what I've seen and witnessed, just the whole. It's just a overhaul of WoW.
Yep.
That's
like WoW
that's
and
great.
Diablo had a baby because the mythic dungeons are now going to be like greater rifts.
Yeah, you can. You have mythic dungeons, and you can complete them as just a normal mythic dungeon. But then once you complete it, you can get like a rift stone, I think, or something like that. Something like a rift stone in Diablo, and you can do mythic plus, and it puts certain like it just makes it harder. So like you can there's one that Ali was talking about where you can do where you'll be in a mythic dungeon, and everyone's health will just be slowly going down the entire in the dungeon.
Yes.
So you have
Wow.
to survive in certain
So there's little, like,
parameters.
It's almost like skulls from Halo. Like there's
Yeah.
little things
Yeah,
that
so-
change.
Yeah.
But
Sick.
it's random though. But
That's fucking cool. See, like that makes me interested in raiding. So that's good. That's good.
For me personally, I haven't really looked into anything into Legion. Kind of not really because I haven't had really any time, but because I haven't been subbed up until a couple days ago, really. And then that's when I seem to kind of get into the going-ons in WoW, like what they're improving, and
Yeah.
so hearing that though makes me kind of excited. I'm right there with you, Luke.
Yes. Are they doing anything to talents?
Oh yeah. Like I mean, sort of, kind of like a lot. They're doing a lot of pruning again, and they're kind of making specs more diverse.
Are they changing the way the talent trees work?
No, talent trees are about the same, but like you'll have like PvP talent tree. You'll have a PvE talent tree. The PvP talent tree will only be able to be used in PvP situations, and you'll have like your artifact weapon talent tree.
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah, the artifact
Does it-
talent tree looks similar to.
Doesn't honor now work more like experience points?
That's what I was gonna bring up next. Was PvP overall?
Yeah.
Wait, what was it? What
Isn't
was
it like prestiging now? Isn't there almost like a
Yeah.
Call of Duty-esque leveling, PvP leveling system?
Yeah, the PvP max level is 50, and every 10 levels you get to unlock a PvP talent. But when you prestige, you get a different icon for your character in PvP, and also you reset all your talents. So you start at 1, you lose your trinket because trinket's no longer a thing. Humans are no longer like the only ones with the trinket automatically on their character because they're reworking that.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah, there is no. I think I posted this on our Facebook thing. Like, there's no gear doesn't matter in PvP now. If you're max level, you go into a PvP battleground. Everyone is the same except for your artifact weapon.
That's
Like,
amazing.
You can
That's
literally
huge.
go in a red dress and murder everybody.
That's amazing. That's what PvP needs to be.
Yeah.
I love that.
PvP naked dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, excite.
And that removes the issue of like. So I think there were issues with PvP changes because the PvE pipeline was like stopping it because more people PvE than PvP, right? So if they ever wanted to make gear changes or whatever, they basically have to get approval from PvE.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
They essentially said that in the patch notes too, that what the changes they're making are making it easier to allow class changes for them to change to make it more balanced.
bingo. That's what needs to happen.
Like, Bo, you play Assassination, right? Or do you play Subtlety now?
I recently switched to Assassination, my rogue.
Okay. Like, Assassination is now basically a dot spec. Like, they get...
Seriously?
Yeah, they get Garrote and Rupture are only for them. They're the only
What?
rogues that use poison.
Dang.
I forgot they were making all those class changes that made the specs more clear.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
crazy.
everything's really just like, if you play the spec, this is what you're gonna do. It's not like a mixture of the entire class.
Dang. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
That's exciting. Yeah, and then like hunters, it's like marksman is the only one that uses a range weapon, right? Or
Yeah. Survival still, or not survival. Beast Mastery still uses it, but
right, but it's still but all the like you don't get any of the crazy weapon spells, or bow spells. You just get like pet ones, and then survival is only melee, right?
Yeah.
right. Marksman's the one that doesn't have a
What?
pet.
Yeah, like that's awesome.
Dang.
Yeah, okay, marksman doesn't have a pet. That's right. There you
Well, that's not entirely true. You can still have a pet with marksman.
Was it like a talent?
Yeah. There's a talent that lets you have a pet or not have a pet.
Okay.
I think. That's what I saw. That was from like a early alpha though. When Tally first started playing alpha.
Gotcha. Either way, those massive changes that's pretty cool. And then subtlety, like back to rogues. Subtlety rogues are like all about stealth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They had a
Dang.
huge overhaul to where they get 3 charges on Shadow Dance.
Dude.
I think. But like, yeah, I was watching one of the guys that plays Rogue he just does 2s basically for like 8 hours straight when he streams.
Jeez.
But he does subtlety, and he was doing like Mark for Death, and then the one that you go into the air. I don't even remember the name of it.
Death from above.
Death
Yeah.
from Above. Yep, that makes sense. And then he was doing Death from Above as subtlety with a because when you're in stealth, you can put this buff on yourself that increases all damage by 25%.
Wow.
So he'll do that, Mark for Death, and then do Death from Above. And I saw him crit somebody for over 1 million.
Wow.
Like, subtlety has some insane burst. And yeah, I haven't seen anybody play the Outlaw Rogue spec because it was bad.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Do you hear about that, Bo?
No.
Yeah. Instead of combat, it's outlaw, right?
Outlaw.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're basically pirates.
What? No.
Don't you have a gun?
No, you have a gun, but it's not like your weapon. You still use like swords. You have a gun for like you have a shot that you shoot like stuns. It's like a cheap shot, but it's ranged.
That's so fucking cool.
That's incredible. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah,
Dude.
it's fucking sweet. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned something that brought up a question. You said he hit for over 1 million. Are they doing a number crunch again?
No.
Okay.
Nope. Which is really weird to think about because they're like, yeah, we don't want numbers that are that big, but then they go right into an expansion where everyone has over like 3 million HP.
Jeez.
Doesn't make any sense.
Holy crap.
Well, I think they're going to do like gonna be number crunch, and then next expansion is not gonna be number crunch. So like Warlords, there's a number crunch. The
Okay.
next in the Legion there won't be, but then the next one there will be, and the one after that one there won't be.
So, how much do you want to bet that people are going to cry that their characters are being nerfed, just like when it happened the first time?
Well, it'll happen. It always
So,
happens.
so ignorant.
It was a good time.
Oh, and more. I'm just looking at MMO Champion to get stuff to talk about. In Legion, the respec cost has been removed apparently.
There's no dual specs.
Oh, they got rid of dual specs completely.
They got rid of dual
Oh,
specs completely,
interesting.
so you can just change your talents whenever you want, or change your specialization whenever you want.
Dang.
But that
That's
puts
cool.
that makes it more of a impactful change though, because you have to like go through and change your talents. You have to switch your action bars and shit instead of like it automatically switching.
I don't know. It might be the action bars. If that's the case, hopefully it's like it is specialization specific action bars, because that would be really annoying.
Plus, you've got the PvP and the PvE different spec talents. I wonder
Yeah.
if those will switch automatically once you like zone in somewhere.
Mm.
I'm
Interesting.
not sure. If only one of us had the beta.
Damn it.
Yep. I'm trying
that-
to get into it, but
Sounds like they're moving more towards Guild Wars PvP.
Also, you mentioned Guild Wars. I heard somebody was talking about like if instead of how it is now, like if you tag a mob, you have it. Like now, like up to 5 people, and people in their party can tag a mob, and all get credit for it.
Wow.
Nice.
So it promotes people helping each other, like in Guild Wars 2.
We need more stuff like that, promoting playing with each other.
Yeah.
well, hopefully Legion will fix that.
Hopefully.
It sounds like it is addressing that.
Sounds like they're trying really hard to.
Yeah.
And that's enough to like. I want them to keep pressing that, and it
Yes.
sounds like they're going to,
Yes.
especially considering. Honestly, hearing all this is exciting because they were planning all of this and creating it before any of this legacy talk exploded on the internet, and all this legacy talk is going to do is reinforce the fact that they need to make these sorts of changes. So
Yeah.
I feel like this is all of these things coming together, Legion and this storm of Classic is really good for WoW,
Yeah.
for the
And
future of it.
It's for that reason why I don't think people will even bat an eye at the legacy servers once Legion comes out. Because they're trying really hard with this one, it seems like.
There's still going to be a reason to play legacy servers, but it will no longer be, if they make the right changes, which sounds like they're on the right track. It will no longer be for the features and the camaraderie of the old game. It'll be for the
Nostalgia.
just the nostalgia. It'll be like, this is what the game was like. This is how simple it was, and this is like the content. It'll be more about content.
Mm-hmm. And all this is honestly free PR for Blizzard. I mean,
Oh yeah,
it's giving them a lot of attention
pretty
at a
much.
point when they're about to drop an expansion.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's not great press, but all press is good press when it comes to
Right.
bringing something new
I mean,
out.
people are talking about WoW again.
Yeah.
Not to mention the movie coming out too.
That's very
right.
true. When does that launch? June?
The
June
11th.
something. Yeah.
Wow, that's been a month away.
If you see the movie, do you get free game time? Because I heard someone mention that.
You
Oh,
get
that'd be
something.
cool.
I don't think it's game time, but you get something.
I think you do get game time.
You do get game time. Okay.
Really?
Are we all going to see this together?
Are you going to be in January?
We should.
I can be. For the movie.
You can
Fuck
be.
yeah.
I mean, I'm down to see it with you guys, but it just depends on when I work.
Deathers says it comes out June 10th.
June 10th.
Oh.
Hoping we get free game time cards at work.
You're
Box
gonna
of free
steal
game
them all,
cards.
aren't
What am I
you?
missing?
I will find you.
Maybe.
I think it's one per account, though. You know,
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Oh, you could probably only redeem one. Okay, that makes sense.
it'd be like
Blizzard are smart.
be like the Pokemon cards that they used to give away at Pokemon movies.
Yes.
So
I
many
still
of
got
those.
Mewtwo and Mew.
Ancient
Yeah.
Mew.
Except you can only have one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
I guess going back to the PvP thing, like that, since yeah, a lot of the stuff I did in WoW is PvP, except for now. But like, from what I'm hearing, they're not adding any new battlegrounds. There's no new world zones, so it's kind of upsetting.
I was skeptical about the PvP at first, just because I heard Call of Duty come up in the conversation about it.
Yeah.
But like how you have to prestige, or you don't have to, but I mean,
Yeah. Just gives me-
Yeah.
and how you don't really have gear anymore.
It's sort of a throwback to ranks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's
Um,
probably why they're doing it.
But I'm a little more excited for it now.
Is it just like an icon change when you prestige?
It's an icon
quote
change.
unquote?
And also, after you reach a certain prestige rank, you get different skins for your artifact weapon.
Okay.
Nice.
So you
See,
can
that's-
like show off that you did good or you've played a lot of PvP. So you're not just getting your icon.
What about like RBGs? Is that like still a thing or?
Arenas even.
I
Yeah.
haven't heard anything about RBGs, but I'm sure arenas are still there.
The arenas are still there.
So what's the reward for arenas now? Is it just rating and like a title or whatever?
I don't know.
Rating, and you probably get some artifact weapon artifact power from it.
Okay.
Are they gonna have any cosmetic PvP gear?
Probably.
They can do
Possibly.
that.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything on it.
Yeah, I haven't really heard too much about the PvP other than like the PvP talent tree changes and all that fun stuff.
Cool.
Oh, and there's also supposed to be, I think, world legendaries that drop.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's a lot of them that are even like class specific.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's basically like Diablo and WoW. Had a baby.
That's pretty cool.
Excited.
Because, I mean, Blizzard has done the right thing with Diablo. The current state of Diablo is pretty damn good, in
Yep.
my opinion.
I haven't played in a while, but I liked it the last time I was playing it
Yeah,
consistently.
I haven't played it for a while either.
Yeah, me neither.
A couple months maybe.
Almost made a new character. Almost played this season, but decided not to.
I think Bale and I are the only ones that like actually made characters and leveled up.
Bale's always playing Diablo.
Yeah, he is.
One thing I kind of miss though, with games going digital, are like release parties.
Yeah.
I remember that's another thing that I thought was really fun. With like GameStop, say, doing midnight releases for when an expansion drops. I went to one of them. I can't remember exactly which expansion it was. I think it may have been Kata.
Yep. I was
If they had
It
one
was
for
Cataclysm.
Kata. But I just, I met like 3 or 4 people that I had added like in game just in my town, in our town, about just to talk about WoW there for like 2 hours. I don't know. It's just kind of another thing to get you out, and it's like a social aspect. I feel like it's really small in the grand scheme of things, I guess, but it mattered to me. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that also kind of flows into like the time that we have now that we're older.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, if they do have a release, it's at midnight. It's like, oh, we have to work in the morning, so
right.
that's one of those things that so we're getting older. So as a result, we're not going to feel the same way about a game as we did when we were teenagers. Like, it's not going to have the same impact, no matter how good it is. It can have a profound impact still, but
Yeah.
we were little emotional teenagers. So like, awesome experiences, like when Wrath came out. That's always going to have a special place, even if future expansions are just as good. Which I guess goes back to nostalgia, but that's I think that's something that I need to remind myself of at least sometimes when I'm like, oh, it's not as good as it was. Part of that's because of age.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah, you old man.
yeah. But that doesn't change the fact that there's plenty of things that they can learn from the old games. Like really sitting down and looking at why do people like the old games? Why is this legacy thing blowing up?
And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons. Even if we don't get some sort of like legacy content per se in WoW in like the live servers, I feel like that this meeting with the devs of Nostalrius is gonna just improve whatever state of the game is going to be at, like when Legion drops. Basically, I know it's already been in development, but I feel like they can still take what they talked about and just basically add on to the positive experience of WoW.
Yeah,
in the future.
Yep.
Agreed. All is well. All is good. All is getting good.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Anything else?
Can't wait for the pre-patch to play a shitload of WoW.
Same.
Wait, for the pre-patch, they basically changed the game to Legion minus the content, right? So we're gonna have the PvP talent trees. We're gonna have all of that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
When is that, by the way?
I don't know.
Probably like
Soonish,
2
probably.
weeks before the expansion release.
Oh.
So got a while.
Which is in August.
Yeah.
30th, right?
Yeah,
Something like
Legion's August 30th. Already got my collector's edition pre-ordered.
I need to do that.
Nerds.
On Amazon.
So I'm wondering if they do the PvP challenge ranges, if you get the ranks for PvP, how is that going to work? Do they change the emblem if you prestige before the launch? Do you get to keep that?
Probably. It's the live server.
Or is it going to be seasonal? I don't know. It's just weird because if you already have like your prestige maxed, or you prestige like 3 times before Legion's released, I don't know. It seems weird.
I can see them doing a season thing.
Yeah, could be seasonal, or I feel they may just not release the prestige system in the pre-patch.
Yeah, they do withhold certain systems sometimes.
Like, it could just be once the game is finally out, they'll put in the prestige system. So that way no one has, like, an upper hand on anyone.
Yeah. Right. But still, is it an upper hand if you're prestiged and you lose all of your stuff? You just have a better emblem.
Is it just the emblem that changes?
Yeah, it's
or
just the
does it
emblem.
increase, like, PvP power or something like that?
Nope, no PvP power.
So anything that you could get from PvP, in terms of like rewards or rank or prestiging or whatever, none of it's gonna affect PvP gameplay then, correct?
Nope.
Or is it just purely cosmetic?
Purely cosmetic.
Awesome.
The only thing that's going to affect your PvP is what prestige you are, or like what your PvP rank is for your PvP talent tree, and your artifact weapon level.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Well, all right then. If
I'm excited for it.
Too.
Me too.
Well, if no one else has anything, no one has anything else to add, just go ahead and wrap it up.
All right.
Do your followers have any questions?
Anyone have any questions?
Questorinos.
Death3 wants to know why we still play the game.
Well, I don't. So I don't because I don't like the current state of the game.
I mean,
No, actually, I play right now because of the Project 60 thing.
I was gonna say you're kind of on right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right now, I'm only playing because of all of the legacy hype, which is kind of ironic.
I'm playing because of the PvP. It gets me back every time. It's the only thing that's like mostly stayed stable throughout. It's the competitive. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it's right now. It's just the Project 60/70 thing that's going on. Even then, I'm not really playing right now. There's nothing really there for me at the moment.
Nope.
The only thing I really want to do, but don't want to do, is get on one of my characters and buy a heroic Archimon carry so I can get my moose mount. But
How much does that cost?
I don't know. I have like 50k on my paladin, but
That's
But-
kind of what brought me back this past time, was just making gold. I was randomly on Twitch and
That too,
found a
yeah.
couple streamers, and I was like, "Whoa, they're making like a crap ton of gold. I want to do that." And then I heard about legacy, or this, not legacy content, but Project 60 and 70. So that's what I'm doing now. It's pretty fun.
yeah. Any other questions?
Who's getting Overwatch
Me?
for Xbox, right?
Yeah. Sorry, man. I got a lot of friends that don't have a PC, and they really want to play Overwatch.
Sucks.
I'm getting Overwatch for both PC and Xbox.
Oh, look at
Cool.
you! You getting the collectors? Money, 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 money.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I ask
yeah.
how?
How?
How are you getting all these collector's editions?
Don't ask.
Private streams.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, if you ever want to play with the rank 1 Lucio, hit me up on Xbox.
Yeah, you're pretty fucking bomb it, Lucio.
Rank 1 NA.
Anyway. Well, I think that's it
Anyway.
for podcast today. What did it... Anyway, in podcast for today. I'm going to try to do a weekly podcast, just gaming news. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Adios.
Ah.